Hey everybody, so today I just wanted to kind of go over my Charvels and some different kind of stuff about them and why I like them, and some things that I think that some pros and cons to them. So to start with, over here to my right is the Charvel DK24, and this particular model was made around I think 2019, seeing how the serial starts with that. So but they're usually either 2018, 2019 models. Really well built in Mexico. This guy here's got an HSH configuration where it's a full shred in the bridge, a custom flat in the middle, and in the neck is a custom Alnico 2 Pro. So really dig the layout and stuff like that. The reason why I went with this guitar was when I was studying like classical and everything, I also had a Epiphone Les Paul custom, and so those were kind of my two guitars, a classical and that. And I really liked the Epiphone Les Paul custom, but eventually down the road I had surgery, and so I had my gallbladder removed, and after a while I wanted to go play guitar again and everything when I could, but having a body with like no belly cut and stuff like that, it was just kind of hard to sit with it. And so I just kind of wanted to get something different, and I've always admired either Floyd Rose or just like a vintage Trem and stuff, but always kind of stayed away from them because you hear the headaches of like keeping them in tune and all the other kind of stuff. And so just always kind of went with hardtails because they're just easy to play and everything like that and stay in tune. So, but eventually I really wanted to get a Floyd Rose like guitar, so that I can, you know, go both either down or up with the vibrato arm, and then also if I just kind of want to, flick it while I'm playing and stuff like that. And those kind of different things interested me in trying to pick up a different model and try those things out. And so I was looking around, and I was thinking of getting an Ibanez S because they're just so slim, you can sit with it. It's almost like you're not even, it's just the neck almost, like it's just so easy to play. And so I was really debating that for the longest time, but then I was also kind of debating, maybe because I studied classical, maybe I would sit with a V better than just like a electric, so that it would be more in my lap and kind of like classical style. And so I went to a store to try it out, and I was like, oh god, like instantly was like, I don't think this is going to be it for me. So I tried it for a little bit, but I was like, nah, I think I just actually at this point just prefer something like in my lap when I just play and stuff like that. And so I was just kind of trying out different models while I was there, and they had a Charvel. I think this one that I played was an HSH, but it was the flame maple top, so it looked really nice. And I think it was a little bit different than this model, but I could be wrong. It could be the same, but just a flame maple top. But super nice guitar, and I just really like the neck, and sitting with it, thought, wow, this feels really comfortable and stuff. And then finding out that it has a go-to bridge, the 510, so it can go down or up with it. And so I was like, oh, okay, so keep it vintage, you don't have to cut the ball end, and all the kind of rigmarole that goes into having the Floyd Rose um, bridge, just keep it body, strength through and all that kind of stuff, and but be able to somewhat bend it up and down and stuff. Probably not as much as a Floyd Rose, obviously, but to give it some. And so that really interested me, not only because I was kind of really digging the guitar that I had in my hands there, but also that it had the Goto bridge. And so I was kind of toying with, getting one, and I saw this one model that was a HSS that was white and had gold hardware, and I was like, I think that's the one that I'm gonna get. But I've always just wanted an orange, like dinky or an orange guitar, and when I saw that this was a model that they made, I was like, oh well, obviously I'm gonna have to go with the orange one, and I lucked out, found one. It was set up with tens very well, and even came to me from like across, America, and made it to me, and it was like perfect, in playing condition and everything like that. The tuning does kind of knock out every once in a while. You do have to tune it up. It does have locking tuners up here, but I think without having the like saddle lube and the nut lube and that kind of stuff, it just every once in a while you have to tune it up. Probably say every other day, maybe once a day, I have to tune it back. And because it's a vintage bridge like this, when one string goes out and you tune it up, you might have to check every string, just because it might throw out like another string next to it or so. So it is a little problematic with that, but again, with the lube and stuff, it's gonna alleviate all of that. So the next time I restring this, I'm gonna go ahead and put that on there. And so, but yeah, other than that, tone control works really good. It has a little click when it's not active, and then it clicks on when it has that, like the tone is actually like then being used and stuff. So it's got some nice feature to that. And then the pickup configuration is pretty interesting. It actually goes, it's a 5-way switch, and it goes this bridge humbucker, and then the next position is this single, and then this, I believe, outer bridge, and then the middle, you would think is just the middle, but it actually is the two outer of the humbuckers in singles. And then the next one up is a neck and the single of the neck humbucker in the middle, and then lastly the neck humbucker. And so it's cool with that one middle configuration. You can kind of get a telly sound out of it. It's actually a pretty versatile guitar, and it can kind of range all different type of sounds and stuff like that. But one thing that I'm just not 100% fan of is the custom flat pickup. It is hot, but with it being flat, it doesn't have any kind of poles to give it a little bit more either EQ or to kind of boost those. It's kind of, because it's also mounted into the body, it's kind of farther away from the strings. So if I put some padding under it and actually raise the pickup up, it would sound a lot like more volume to it. I'm just trying to think of a word, but it would give it more volume if I brought the pickup up. But I just haven't been, when I go into from humbucker to those two single coils, there's a volume gap that's pretty noticeable and stuff. So I tend to kind of just pick one or the other. And I don't know, I really dig the humbuckers. They really sound great. The full shred is almost a super distortion with just a little bit more clarity to it. I really dig this bridge pickup, and then the Alnico 2 in the neck is just, it sounds so great. But yeah, I'm just not 100% a fan of the middle pickup, so I'm actually thinking about switching that one out, and putting a cool rails in there, and then having the pickup selection kind of just go back to, or not go back to, but go to where I would know a little bit more, like, oh, okay, this is where the pickup I'm on, and like just go bridge, bridge middle, middle, middle neck, and neck. Yeah. So, but another pro of this guitar that I really like, and why I kind of went with it, was because it has a roasted maple neck, which is something I've never really had, and it was always kind of interested me, like, how does this differ and stuff, and then playing it just feels so smooth and nice. It's very similar to maple, it's just, I don't know how to explain it, just a little bit more velvety, or less maple smooth, but more of like a velvety kind of feel, maybe, compared. I mean, this one's definitely a lot smoother, but anyways, that's definitely why I kind of went with this guitar and all the pros to it. And yeah, one of the cons to it, it being a satin finish, is that it will, if you put your oils on it, it will kind of start making it as if it's like a poly finish or something like that. But it's kind of like, forget what the word for it, plucking or something like that, I believe. But that is one of the things to the satin finish. So I don't know if it's kind of picking up on the camera and stuff, but the more you touch around here and stuff like that, it just leaves that kind of mark. And so if you want something that is going to be not like that, just kind of all around, I would probably go with the gloss. The satin definitely has a little bit more projection to it and stuff, but the gloss is just going to be less, easy to clean, and it's not going to have any kind of stuff like that. But I knew going in that I bought this used, and it already had that going on, and it didn't bother me. So I don't really care, but I can see how some people would be like, I don't like how that splotchy kind of spot there and stuff. So there is that to it. But yeah, a lot more pros than cons to it, at least in my opinion. This is why it's kind of my main guitar that I like to just pick up and play and stuff like that. It's really easy, very comfortable C neck, and stainless steel frets, so I don't have to worry about having to get a fret job done on this or anything like that. So a lot more pros to it. So that's the Charvel DK24, and I've had that probably for 2 years now or so, and again, like it. This I've had probably for 10 years or more, and this is a Charvel Model 7. So way back when, I guess Model 1s and stuff, or I guess Strat looking and such. And I don't know when they started to do kind of tele designs and stuff, but I would maybe say 86 or so, they probably started. Maybe shortly after that, but if not soon, or if not like since the late 70s or something. When you see Charvels, are usually like the kind of a Strat with a pickguard, or a soloist without the pickguard, kind of like this kind of style. But this is a 1989 Charvel Model 7, and the way I was able to determine that this was an 89 was from the serial number. So there's no stamp on it. I think back in the day, they were still kind of trying to figure out what ink to use or how to do it and stuff. So there's nowhere saying that this is made in Japan, even though this is a Japanese import. Probably if I took the neck off and either in the body, right where the neck joint goes, or right on the back of the neck plate or whatnot, it probably says like made in Japan. But for the most part, the back plate here just says Charvel, Fort Worth, USA, and all that stuff. So, but the serial number on mine starts with 3. And so back in '86, the way that they did the serial numbers for their guitars was if it started with 0, it was a Japanese import that was from 1986. And so from there onward, if it had a 1, it was from 1987. If it had a 2, it was '88. And so this one starting with a 3 indicates that it's from 1989. And really, I think either kind of ahead of its time or just an amazing piece for its time. And a lot of features on this guitar is kind of stuff that they almost made standard. Like this is a 12 to 16 radius, which is the same as a DK and a lot of the other Charvels and stuff. It also for this one has a reverse headstock coming up here, and it has the toothpaste lettering, which they did in '89 to kind of, I guess, separate themselves from the Japanese import to what was, the old school style, kind of Charvel and stuff. And so there's a lot of these Model 7s that actually have the Charvel old school logo instead of the toothpaste. But by '89, I think they was like a standard for the company to just kind of going forward separate from the Japanese imports and stuff. So I've seen on the internet a lot of these with the old school Charvel, and I'm like, what's going on? So I had to do some research to find out, like, is mine legit? Is theirs legit and stuff? And yeah, it's just the way they did them and stuff. And interestingly, also around that time, they kind of slapped a lot of Jackson parts onto the Charvels. So you can see on the pickup, it says Jackson here. And other than that, it's Jackson tuners that they have on there. So it's an interesting kind of hybrid that they slapped together back then in Japan with these parts and stuff. But some good stuff came out. And so this one also had the jumbo frets, just like the DK. I did have them worked on a little since I've owned it, so they're probably more medium now. They're a little less height to them, but I don't know. I kind of prefer a little bit less fret. As nice as it is to just so easily press down to make a note, it's also, if you press too hard, it will make the note go out of tune and stuff. So I tend to like them a little flatter and stuff. So this is nice. And the another interesting thing about this guy here is some people online will say that it has a thin C neck, but I think it has a little bit more of a hump to it, and that it's more of like a really thin D neck. But the reason I think that there's so much misconception or so on it is that it's so thin. It's kind of hard to even say what it is. It just feels so good and nice and thin and stuff. And but yeah, I think that that it's a thin D neck, and it feels so nice and interesting too. You don't really feel too many necks that are just like that. Even in Ibanez, I've never felt was like this thin and kind of rounded on the back. So, as I mentioned, playing Epiphones and classicals, you're just kind of used to a D neck, and that's kind of why I wasn't 100% sure if I was going to really get into the Charvels or Fenders or any of that. But every time I picked up a Charvel, I've always been like, oh wow, this neck feels so good. And this is no exception. It's just so thin, so easy to play, fantastic for a telly especially. It's also really cool with the black hardware. It kind of goes with the finish, which is a really nice translucent finish. And so this one here is Swamp Ash. I don't know if you can kind of tell from the grains and stuff popping. I don't know if they're popping, but if they are, that's kind of a sign of it being some fancy wood. This one's definitely Swamp Ash. And so the translucent ones, they did that. And if it was a solid color, it's basswood. And so some people kind of have a preference, either Swamp Ash, and other people maybe have a preference of basswood. It all kind of depends. But I think that it's pretty minute. Maybe for a telly, you might want to go Swamp Ash over basswood, but I think that either works really well and stuff, and so there's nothing against the solid color ones. But this one's a nice translucent finish and nice belly cut here. Really easy to play. I was working at a music store and this came in. Some guy brought it in and sold it, and at the time, I kind of wanted to get a telly, but I didn't want a Fender, with the pick guard and just that kind of stuff. So I was trying to find something, no pick guard, just kind of direct mounted and all of that. So when this came in, I was like, oh wow, actually I was looking for something like this. And so it was just a nice coincidence that eventually I got my hands on this, and I was like, right then and there, I was like, I have to have it. Don't even put it up online that, and I think they did, but I still snagged it really quickly. I needed to just kind of, have this for myself, and I'm really glad I did, because the pickups sound really great. It's just been, for as long as I've had it, been a great guitar to play and everything. It sounds fantastic. Nice binding on the body. It's cream, kind of goes with it, and also it's not really explained or told a lot, but I think that the fretboard is actually a bird's eye maple, so it's a little fancy. I might be wrong on that, on the bird's eye maple, but it does appear. I'm going to see if I can get some better camera angles on it and stuff like that, but it does kind of have that kind of wave to it and stuff. So, but real nice, really well made and everything, and really happy with both of them. And so yeah, if you have, if you're lucky enough to have a old '80s Charvel that's made in Japan, and you're kind of wondering, how do I, figure out what year this is from? That the way the serial number begins is the identifier of kind of what year it started, and they only did them till 91 or something, so I don't think they kind of ran out of numbers. I think after like 6 or 7 they're probably onto the next style and stuff. So yeah, these have been my Charvels, my 1989 Model 7 and my Charvel DK24. I hope you guys found this to be helpful in either finding out information on either the older guitar, or just trying to find something different, or maybe you were looking at getting a satin finish guitar and then you see what could happen there and you're like, oh no, I don't know if I would like something that would be like that. It's just something to think about. And so but yeah, I can't say enough good things about these guitars. They've been really great, especially the DK24, which I can't wait to do a little bit of stuff to. I'm going to be switching up the middle pickup here in the next month or two, and so once I do that, I'll put up another video and just kind of A/B between what it is like standard setup and then what it's going to sound like with the potential cool rails and maybe even different pickup selection and stuff like that. So, but yeah, until the next video, rock on.